Have you ever really thought about the universe that's operating inside you right now? I'm not talking about some galaxy far away. I'm talking about the one inside your own body. Because as you're sitting there, a war is being fought. A battle with trillions of soldiers fighting, dying, and being born every single second. Okay, let's just dive right in. Because this isn't some metaphor. This is the literal, chaotic, beautiful reality of life.
But what if you could see it all up close? I mean, really close. Imagine a person shrunk down to the size of a single cell and then thrown headfirst into that internal chaos. How long could they possibly survive? A day? Maybe a week? So, what if they had to survive for 100 days?
Well, this is Dr. Marcus Weil, and he is about to make the most brilliant and, at the same time, the most unbelievably insane mistake in the history of science. You know, his plan sounded simple enough. Shrink himself down, get swallowed by his assistant, just collect a little data, and then exit naturally about 24 hours later. Simple, right? But of course, science is rarely ever that simple. What was supposed to be a quick one-day trip turned into a 100-day ordeal. This was a journey through literal acid lakes, raging biological war zones, and crushing high-pressure chambers, all ending in a desperate, high-speed bid for freedom. This is his story.
So, the journey begins with the plunge, and the plan goes sideways almost immediately. The moment the capsule is swallowed, Dr. Weil finds himself rocketing down a muscular tube straight into one of the most hostile environments you could possibly imagine.
The esophagus, for us, it's a 10-inch tube. For him, it becomes this terrifying 15-mile tunnel of complete darkness. These powerful muscle contractions, peristalsis, they slam his capsule downward like a pinball. And then a valve just opens and he's ejected into absolute hell. His calm signal is blocked by the dense tissue of the body. He is totally, utterly alone.
Welcome to the human stomach. It's one of nature's most aggressive chemical reactors, a churning vat of hydrochloric acid and enzymes with a pH of around 2. Now think about this. This acid is so strong, it can dissolve an iron coin in 24 hours. Dr. Weil's capsule? It was only rated to survive for 48. The clock wasn't just ticking, it was screaming.
To keep from sinking into that acid and just being crushed by the stomach's churning walls, Marcus has to do something desperate. He spots this massive, undigested piece of bread from his assistant's breakfast and uses it as a life raft. For 12 agonizing days, he just floats on this soggy, makeshift island as that acid lake just eats away at his only protection, bit by bit.
After a harrowing escape from the stomach, Dr. Weil is thrust into the small intestine. And listen, if the stomach was a chemical hell, well, the intestine is a living, breathing jungle, absolutely teeming with life and with death.
He's surrounded by billions of these moving finger-like projections called villi, and to him, each one is like a 20-story living skyscraper. At first, the only locals are these harmless E. coli bacteria, which at his scale look like charging rhinos. But then, disaster. His assistant eats some bad street food, and suddenly, hostile salmonella bacteria are invading. A full-scale biological war erupts right in front of his eyes. So now, Marcus is caught in this insane, deadly crossfire. On one side, you've got the salmonella invaders. On the other, the body's own defenders. These massive immune cells called neutrophils, which are the size of 3-story buildings to him. And here's the real problem. These immune cells, they don't ask questions. They see a foreign object, and their only instinct is to consume and destroy it. Period. He has to escape. So he navigates through the bile ducts and into the liver, the body's massive, humming chemical factory. But this factory has its own elite security force, Kupfer cells. Think of them as specialized macrophages, just relentless cleaners that hunt and destroy any foreign object. Dodging their deadly tentacles, he finally breaks through into a central vein. He's done it. He's reached the bloodstream. The bloodstream is a totally different world. A world of constant, pulsating, unstoppable motion. Marcus has reached the body's superhighway, all right, but this highway is taking him straight towards its most formidable and dangerous destination.
Billions of red blood cells rush past him, each one a little biological delivery truck for oxygen. Realizing his fuel is way too precious to waste, he deploys grappling hooks and just latches onto one of them, hitchhiking through the circulatory system. But every highway leads somewhere, and this one leads directly into a hurricane.
On day 76, the current pulls him into the right atrium of the heart. To us, blood pressure is just a couple of numbers on a cuff. To Dr. Weil, each contraction of that heart muscle is a seismic earthquake, generating tons of pressure that threaten to just pulverize his capsule into dust. Survival in here isn't about endurance anymore, it is all about timing.
His only way out is through the pulmonary valve, the one that leads to the lungs. He needs jeweler's precision for this. He has to wait for that split second of relaxation between beats, fire his thrusters, and just shoot through the opening before the valve slams shut with enough force to completely obliterate him. And against all odds, he makes it. The torrent of blood ejects him through, sending him careening towards the lungs and towards the exit.
He's survived the acid. He's survived the war. He's survived the hurricane. Now, on the final leg of his journey, freedom is so close. But getting out is going to require one last, incredibly audacious maneuver.
By day 91, he reaches the alveoli, these tiny air sacs where blood exchanges carbon dioxide for fresh oxygen. Now, what's really amazing here is the scale. The wall between the blood and the air is unbelievably thin. We're talking half a micrometer. Using a microscalpel, he waits for an exhale, cuts the membrane, and pushes his capsule through. He's in breathable air again for the first time in months.
But he still needs to get out. So on the 100th day, he executes his final, brilliant plan. He pilots the capsule up to the larger bronchial tubes and sprays the very last of his emergency capsaicin, yep, the same stuff that makes chili peppers hot, directly onto the body's cough receptors. The reaction is instantaneous and violent. A massive cough reflex ejects Dr. Weil at nearly 180 kilometers per hour, sending his capsule flying out and clattering onto the lab floor.
After 100 days of nonstop horror, a tiny capsule clinks onto a laboratory table. Dr. Weil survived. He collected data that will forever change our understanding of biology. But more than that, he understood something fundamental about the world he had just escaped.
And this, right here, is the whole point. The human body isn't just a machine. It's a living, breathing metropolis with trillions of citizens. Right now, as you're listening to my voice, your heart is beating. Your immune system is destroying threats. Trillions of tiny organisms are working tirelessly, all for one single purpose: keeping you alive.
Dr. Weil's journey shows us the sheer, chaotic beauty of the systems that keep us going every moment of every day. But it really leaves you with one massive question. If this body is the city, what happens when we decide to go explore the command center? What happens when we go inside the human brain?